This is part 3 of our gruelling test for the Honda NSX. So far it's confused our dyno and then been roundly beaten by the Porsche 911 Turbo in a race to 150 miles an hour. More surprising is that the heavier, less powerful Nissan GT-R also shaded the NSX's acceleration figures. Now there's a chance to exact revenge at the simply fabulous Cadwell Park circuit in sunny Lincolnshire. Sunny but freezing cold and very, very slippery. Firstly, we'll discover how each car behaves, how entertaining they are, and just how they make you feel. Then hopefully once the track has dried out, we'll run some lap times too. So this is it, the final reckoning. It's time for the NSX to step up and blow us away.
Okay, so we're going to start in the 911 Turbo, which is sort of perennial benchmark for any car. Almost any supercar at any price, because it does so much stuff, just does everything, and it's a ridiculous amount of money for me, but it's not a ridiculous amount of money in the grand scheme of what these cars cost. So this is a bog standard turbo, not an S, haven't got PDCC, is that what it's called? Maybe PDDC, hasn't got that anyway, those active roll bars. Got active dampers obviously, we've got everything dialed onto stiff despite the track being really, really slippery, and within half a lap you can see why it is the benchmark. It is phenomenal around this track. In fact, I think the new 911 turbos are better on track than they are on the road. On the road they're almost a bit too aloof really with this new steering system and stuff, but on the track it's just so good. There's so much grip and traction and adjustability, and it feels nimble and light. It's just an absolute weapon of a car. The shape we're used to, aren't we? We see so many 911s, and for some people they're just not exotic enough. But for other people, that's half the appeal. You get supercar ability, and a bit more, you might argue, in a shape, in a car that you could use, that's got rear seats for kids, and you can see out of it and everything works, and all those little things that the romantic part of your brain thinks, well, that doesn't matter because I want a Ferrari and I want it to be red and noisy and all that stuff. But actually, that stuff does matter, and it really determines how much you want to use the car and enjoy it. And that's why the 911 Turbo is so hard to beat, because it does everything you want it to in terms of performance, but you can use it without any problem in any situation. The foundations of this car's strengths, well, the sheer performance is big torque, big power. The gearbox, this PDK box, is superb. Brakes, it's got ceramics. Absolutely, they are faultless. They are the best braking system I think there is. They're superb. And the four-wheel drive system gives you a huge amount of traction. You've got that anyway with the rear engine layout.
But there's also fine adjustability, and the super efficient, super clinical 911 Turbo actually loves to be driven way, way beyond the limit.
But for the most part, you can just put the car where you want it. You can slide the car when you want to, on the way in, on the way out. You can stay hooked up. You've got the feel through the chassis, and that just makes the performance that's on offer, which is already huge, exploitable all the time. Bang! You're just always on it in this car, and it's a hard thing to beat. It is the benchmark for good reason, and somehow the Turbo particularly just gets more impressive as time goes on. It really works on the track, really works today. If the NSX GT-R can challenge this, then they're doing something very right.
So the Turbo is once again the supreme performer. is there anything this car can't do? The big, bruising GT-R says that maybe there is.
So when the Nissan GT-R came out and pretty much redefined our perception of what performance was, certainly in a car, at the time I think it was like 60 grand, unbelievable. The Porsche 911 Turbo was the 997 Gen 1 Turbo. Since then we've had the Gen 2, we've had the 991, and now we're on the 991 Gen 2 car. So it's really moved on a huge amount. The GT-R, we've had 1,000,001 changes, tiny little changes here and there, but effectively it's the same car. Still looks pretty much the same. Same motor, same gearbox. So you'd think that this car, this mighty old car, would feel like an old car and be a bit of a relic in terms of performance as well. Well, absolutely it doesn't. The last thing this car is a relic in terms of what it offers performance-wise. But it is a relic in the sense that there's just so much feedback, and that isn't what people expect of a GT-R. But this car, this new 17 car, has had a lot of refinements. The gearbox is more refined, the steering's different, it's much lighter, and initially it doesn't feel like there's much feedback going on, but actually it doesn't take long to get used to it, and then you just feel absolutely connected to what it's doing. And it is just a ferocious car. I hope you can hear that and just get a sense of what it's like to drive this huge car around this brilliant but pretty narrow circuit. Okay, so compared to the 911, it feels huge. It feels absolutely vast when you first get in it. And you feel so high that you think, well, this can't do what the Porsche does, but it gets mighty close. And it does it not by copying or imitating anything else. It's just its own thing. And it's just so intense to drive. I really, really love it. This 17 car, which is the car that's gone soft, it doesn't feel very soft when you start ringing out on a damp Cadwell Park circuit. It feels completely balmy. This thing is still, it's got to be considered a bargain. It's got so much performance, it's so close to the Turbo and the NSX. The Turbo is 130, NSX 165 with bits. And this thing is as fast, pretty much, but more importantly, it's just as exciting, if not more so. In these conditions, it's bang on. It's still slippery, and just the way you can turn the thing in and steer it with the rear, but without really having to correct it very much, it's really good. It's loving these conditions, and I have to say, I'm loving driving it. It is still something to behold. Just the fury of this car. Awesome thing.
I think if you could combine the character, the unbridled exuberance of the GT-R with the dimensions and purity of the 911's chassis behaviour, you'd have the ultimate combination of excitement, balance and usability. So Honda, it's over to you.
Now we're on to the NSX. So what does it feel like? Well, initially it feels smaller, lighter, and a bit angrier. That engine note's fantastic. It wants to change direction really well. We're not on the optimum tyre. We haven't driven this car on the optimum tyre. Last time we had it in the dry at Anglesey on the Continental, it just wasn't good enough. This time we're on a Trofeo R, but it's cold and damp. The balance is much improved, changes direction better, holds the line better at the front. But I don't have the confidence in the rear, because you get it turned in and you're on the exit of the corner and you think you're out of the corner effectively, bang, and then it spits you sideways. So we're waiting to try this car in optimum conditions, optimum tyres. But the real world, you never get those perfect conditions, do you? And these cars are meant to be cars that you can enjoy all the time. And so driving it on a day like this is actually pretty illuminating, because you get to understand how much confidence the car gives you, what it's going to do when things turn a bit unpredictable. It feels so fast, this thing. The engine, the drivetrain is seriously good. It's got 9 gears, which is slightly absurd. It feels like you're hitting a dozen downshifts into the corners. But I have to say, I'm pretty impressed. On these tyres, the balance is better. You can just get stuck into the car more, and you start to feel how clever that torque vectoring is, what it's achieving. It's making this heavy car get around this circuit bloody quick, I have to say. And yet, still got that entertainment when you just want to boot it. Hard to put your finger on what you like about it, what you don't like about it, and whether you really enjoy it. It's fun. It does everything really well. I love the balance. I love the way the torque vectoring gives you that agility. The noise is good. The engine really rips at the top. But it's not a car that gives you feedback in the way that the GT-R does. It's not a car that quite gives you the confidence the way a 911 Turbo does in every sort of condition. It remains an oddity, a really fantastic oddity, and I'm glad they build it. Yeah, I mean, it's really exciting and fast. I think there's more to come. I think that's what I'm waiting for. I feel like this is version 1, and what version 911 Turbo are we on? God only knows. What version GT-R are we on? God only knows. There's been millions of the things. So for version 1 of this car to be this good, this impressive, with all this tech, it's impressive. It really is. And as the track dries out, it just gets better and better. Yeah, it's a cool thing, the NSX. I don't think I love it, but I definitely like it.
Cadwell in the winter is quite a stage for these cars. Beautiful but also incredibly challenging. It's a proper heart-thumping place to drive a really fast car as hard as you dare. We waited as long as possible to set the lap times, hoping for the surface to dry. It never did, but as the sun started to fade, we went for it anyway. The Porsche seemed the natural way to start, and it was head-spinningly good. Locked down through the quicker turns with unreal traction and that huge torque to help fire you out of the turns. And although it could understeer on turn-in, front grip would soon recover and allow early and confident application of full throttle. It sets the benchmark with a 1 minute 40.22. The NSX never felt as keyed into the tarmac, especially the damp patches beneath the trees at the Hall bends and at the exit of the gooseneck. On the warm-up lap it set a 1:45 with plenty more to come, but then out of nowhere came a brake system warning. Driving around Cadwell in the damp and with the sun setting is unnerving enough, but with a dire warning of impending brake failure, it's just not worth the risk. I had to abort, worried that any result would be compromised anyway, and definitely not wanting to sail off the end of the track with reduced braking ability. It's hugely frustrating, but that's just the way it goes sometimes. The GT-R got its moment, but after the unexpected NSX problems, it really was getting dark. Even so, it was sensational. Yes, the GT-R feels heavier than the 911, especially on the brakes, but it turns in even better, and in these conditions, it doesn't really understeer at all. Instead, the rear edge is wide just enough to allow you to stay on the power and fire out onto the next straight. It feels a match for the 911, but the data says not. Not even close, to be honest. It turns in a 144.86. After 3 rounds of testing, there's a pretty clear winner, and it is rather predictably 911 shaped. The Porsche was the fastest to 60, 100 and 150 miles an hour, and it hammered the Nissan and Honda on the track too, at least in terms of lap time. It's a phenomena, this 911 Turbo, a car so multi-talented that you can only just look on in awe. The NSX is different. It feels lighter and more agile at first. It makes intriguing noises, both mechanical and electrical. It looks so sharp and distinctive. For Honda to come from nowhere to build this car is pretty sensational. However, the simple facts show it was slower than the Porsche and the much cheaper Nissan, and it let us down on track. Just one rear brake pad totally dissolved, perhaps through the torque vectoring by brake on the rear axle, and it just felt a little out of sorts under the strain of setting a lap time. The GT-R didn't wilt for a second. It lacks the finesse of the Porsche and the fast-sightedness of the Honda, but for driving excitement, it doesn't give an inch. The 911 wins, but the GT-R leaves with its head held very high indeed.